Hi, I'm Lily Collins.
And I'm Ashley Parr. You may know us as Mindy and Emily, the stars of Emily in Paris.
With the So Amazing Season 2 just around the corner, we wanted to take some time to quickly recap all the big stuff that happened in Season 1.
So let's start right at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, totally. So Emily is working for a big marketing agency in Chicago called the Gilbert Group. And her boss is planning to move to Paris to oversee the new French marketing company the Gilbert Group has acquired, Savoir.
Maison Leveau. It's like wearing poetry.
But it turns out that her boss got a little bit pregnant, and that kind of derails the whole move to Paris thing a bit. So naturally, she said,
Emily! So she quickly jets off to Paris to be a social media executive for the new acquisition. I should mention that Emily does not speak any French at this point, so as you might imagine, she's not exactly a big hit at the office full of French people.
And they refuse to eat lunch with her. Real mean girl behavior.
Totally. But at least eating lunch alone eventually leads to Emily meeting her new best friend, Mindy.
That's me. You're lonely, you text me, we have dinner.
Mindy is a nanny in the city and pretty much the only person who is nice to Emily, except for maybe her hot chef neighbor, Gabrielle.
Oh, also Emily has a boyfriend back in Chicago named Doug. They tried the long distance thing for a bit, but I'm not gonna lie to you folks, Doug is on his way out.
Emily very Americanly and unapologetically loves to work. As the new, slightly overeager new member of the team, this creates some awkward situations for her at her new job. Like at a party for a fragrance client, her boss chastises her for talking about business at a social event.
Or when she accidentally brings up the client's marriage, even though her boss is his mistress. Surprise! She can't stop stepping on her own toes, so she goes out to enjoy a lovely dinner at a restaurant near her house with Mindy. And who should end up being the chef but her aforementioned hot neighbor, Gabrielle.
You know, I'd be happy to burn it for you, but promise me you'll try it first.
Yeah, try his meat, Emily.
Anyway, to add to all the stress, Emily's boyfriend Doug calls her up and demands that either she move back to Chicago or they are done. Remember when I actually mentioned he was on his way out?
Au revoir, Doug.
So at Savoir, Emily has now been assigned to work on the Vageur Jeune account, which is, and this is not a joke, a product that promotes older women's vaginal wetness. I mean, we told you that her boss didn't like her.
Well, through her work on this product line, Emily finds out that the word for vagina in French is masculine, which she doesn't jive with, and posts about to her ever-growing Insta following.
And wouldn't you know it, the post gets tweeted out by Brigitte Macron, wife of French President Macron, and the client is absolutely thrilled. So Emily's fortunes are ever so improving.
Well, kind of. Emily is also asked to introduce the Gilbert Group's corporate commandments to the office at Savoir,
You would like to destroy our French soul.
which doesn't go great at first. But Emily's instincts succeed again on the next campaign, so the office softens to her approach.
She is winning them over one by one. There are still some definite holdouts, but she'll break through those walls eventually.
Sure, she will.
Nonetheless, Emily meets an awesome woman the next day named Camille, who insists that Emily join her for a party later that evening with a well-known Chicago hotelier.
Emily, being ever the business-minded young woman, uses the party as an opportunity to pitch the hotelier on a signature scent, a deal she eventually closes after a dinner out with her team at Gabrielle's restaurant.
Oh yes, and let's not forget that she kisses Gabrielle, then almost immediately runs into Camille, who she learns is Gabrielle's girlfriend.
Paris seems like a big city, but it's really just a small town. So happy to see you.
Paris.
And her brash style of pitching ideas succeeds when she meets with the big client, Hastings Luxury Beds, and pitches an idea that the client loves.
Emily also loves to beg forgiveness rather than ask permission, and is temporarily forced to shut down her Insta account by her boss, who thinks it's overshadowing the excellent work that their company is providing for their clients.
And that is a huge bummer because Emily's Insta following was getting pretty big at this point. But luckily, the Hastings people saw the account before it was deactivated and demanded that not only Emily be the first bed model for the campaign, but that she post it from her Instagram account.
So it's a short-lived death for the Instagram Emily in Paris. Things are hot and cold at work, with some of Emily's ideas going very well, but also some not so much.
She soon meets a handsome professor named Thomas while out to eat at a cafe, and the two begin a little tryst.
Meanwhile, Mindy is struggling with her own issues. Her wealthy father wants her to return to China to work for his company, but Mindy wants to live in Paris and sing. Emily obviously encourages her to follow her dreams as a good friend should.
Emily starts kinda dating Thomas, even though Gabrielle tells her that he doesn't like him, which, none of your business, Gabrielle, but the two decide to attend the opera together nonetheless.
But as it turns out, Gabrielle Gabrielle is like kind of right because Thomas is a total snob. So the night ends with the two parting ways. Triste.
But the exciting world of Paris can't stop for even a moment, so Emily is quickly off to babysit an American movie star, Brooklyn Clark.
Can you give me like 15? I have to masturbate after a long flight.
As you might guess, babysitting a young starlet has its challenges. All of which Emily experiences on a hectic night out for one of her clients' parties. However, when the night is all over, Emily has kissed Gabrielle again, bonded a tiny bit with Sylvie, and had another hit on Instagram with one of her posts for one of Savoir's couture clients.
She's honestly killing it. Except for the whole Gabrielle thing, since he's definitely still dating Camille, who is awesome and doesn't deserve to have her boyfriend cheat on her.
Of course not,
Yeah.
but it turns out that Camille is also very interested in being friends with Emily actually and invites her to come to her family's chateau where they produce fancy champagne to discuss what Savoir could do for the label.
But since Gabrielle is also coming to the chateau, the whole thing gets a little awkward.
A little awkward.
Yeah, you're right.
Emily has to ride on Gabrielle's lap for like 3 hours.
Okay, so yeah, that was a lot awkward. And things don't really get much better once Emily meets and sleeps with the tour guide Timothée, who ends up being Camille's little brother.
But in the end, she wins over Camille's parents with some creative ideas and heads back to Paris with a new client for Savoir. Way to go, Em!
So back in Paris, Emily wastes no time and sets a meeting with Mathieu Cadeau, the nephew of Pierre Cadeau, who, if you recall, is the big fancy couture client of Savoir.
She initially begins seeing him under the pretense of getting a dress donated for a charity auction, but we all know Emily is interested in a little bit more.
Eventually, the night of the auction, the final piece of the night is auctioned off to some young American designers who go by the name of Grayspace.
They famously make a sweatshirt that costs 900 euros and have fashion shows nobody knows the address of. Naturally.
But in a really unchill move, it turns out they bought the Cadeau dress at the auction as a marketing stunt and absolutely battered the dress and Emily with the paintballs.
This obviously sends Pierre into a bit of a spiral. He's afraid he's considered old. He thinks he's being made fun of. You get it. Emily does all that she can to smooth it over, even getting the Grayspace designers to put out a Pierre Cadeau Grey Zone collaboration sweatshirt. But Pierre is just not a fan.
As a matter of fact, he's so upset, he tells Mathieu that he's planning to cancel his show at Paris Fashion Week, which is like a big deal. Huge.
Huge. It's especially a big deal for Emily because Pierre dropped Savoir as a client, which causes Sylvie to fire Emily for messing everything up.
But don't worry, it's apparently pretty impossible to fire someone in France, so she just needs to play it right and steer clear of Sylvie until things blow over.
But the hits just keep coming because when she gets back to her apartment, she finds out that Gabrielle is planning to buy a restaurant in Normandy and is moving away. I'm really gonna miss your omelets.
They will miss you too.
Which is so sad because, like, Gabrielle is perfect.
But, I mean, is he?
But Emily barely has time to deal with this before Pierre Cadeau, ever the fickle fashionista, re-engages with Savoir to tell them that he has a new, exciting line.
Emily helps Pierre and Mathieu to pull off an epic PR stunt at the Gray Area Fashion Week show, and boom! Pierre is back in the spotlight. Emily did it!
Sad side note, Mindy ends up losing her job as a nanny after asking the family she works for if she can have nights off to work as an MC at a drag show. Not even every night, just 2 nights a week.
And because full-time nanny gigs usually come with housing, Mindy is also without a place to live until
Dun, dun, dun.
she comes to stay with her best friend, Emily.
Yes.
Okay, anyways, back to the whole Pierre success story.
So everyone goes out to dinner at Gabrielle's restaurant for his last evening in town, and things go great. Emily gets the Maison Laveau count from Antoine, she gets invited to Saint-Tropez by Mathieu, and once everyone leaves, she bangs Gabrielle, which is technically okay at this point because him and Camille broke up because he's leaving. They were on a break.
Seemingly a nice goodbye, but it turns out that Antoine was quite taken with Gabrielle and offers to buy him the restaurant in Paris, so he's like actually gonna stay in the city, which
Yeah, complicated, but also precisely where we end the journey of season 1.
Oh my god. So you guys don't know about this. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. So I guess you'll just have to watch Emily in Paris season 2 the moment it comes out, December 22nd on Netflix.
See you there.